I'm excited to introduce Filmio's VP of Entertainment, Lauren Magura, and co-founder Chris J. Davis to talk about decentralized filmmaking ecosystem that places Hollywood decision-making onto the blockchain and into the hands of creators and fans. Welcome to the show, Lauren and Chris.
Thanks for having us.
What brought the founders together to create Filmio?
It's a great question, and hopefully one of these days it'll be mythos. But basically, a bunch of us were technologists and had a bunch of friends who were in the entertainment industry, and we would get together and talk, commiserate over the problems that were in entertainment and problems that were in the tech space. And eventually it dawned on us that if we pulled our resources and our expertise, if you will, together, we might have a shot of changing things. And so that began conversations that quickly evolved into the platform you see today. And along the way, we discovered the blockchain, which we felt like was a really good solution for some of the very specific problems and challenges that exist in Hollywood and entertainment and the entire process of creating content in today's world.
Do you mind defining what blockchain is?
Sure.
And how it works?
Yeah. It's always a great question. And it's always a good challenge to find new ways to say it. But if you think of a ledger, like a checkbook, for those of us old enough to have used checkbooks in our life, the blockchain works a lot like that. It's a record of blocks, which is where blockchain comes from. You can think of a block as like a little container. And each of these containers you can put data into. So you could put a picture into or a piece of text. And what makes it so interesting and so powerful, especially for what we do, is that as opposed to one person or entity having that ledger and them being the one source of truth of, is this correct data or not, the ledger gets distributed to thousands or millions of people. And for any piece of data to be considered correct, it has to agree with everyone. And any data that doesn't agree with the whole community gets excised, gets kicked out. And that makes it extremely powerful. It makes it extremely resilient to hacking, to moderation in a negative way, to a lot of the stuff that we deal with today in social media and things like that. Censorship is very hard on the blockchain because it's all distributed across thousands of computers or millions of people.
Wow, that's interesting. And Lauren, you're the VP of Entertainment. How did you come on board?
Yeah, so actually my background is, I have a really diverse background coming from both the corporate and startup in both the film and startup world. So I started my background at NBC Universal, the Media Operations Center. Then I migrated over to Universal Pictures on the film side in marketing. I went through a really interesting journey of finding issues with the entertainment industry in all of these different roles that I had, experienced, especially being a female in film as well. While I was at Universal Pictures, I actually developed my own startup, and it was a mobile app, basically to bridge the gap in hiring film production crew. But I really wanted to create something that was like an end-to-end, end-all, be-all to solve all of the issues of streamlining processes for filmmakers and giving more filmmakers that wouldn't have a chance to make films, give them a voice and help them with resources and tools to create, so they don't have to, break through the Hollywood gatekeepers. And while I was going on that journey, I was just doing research in startups that were breaking barriers and shattering glass ceilings in the space. And I came across Filmio, and I actually reached out to them. I reached out to Filmio and said how amazing what they were doing was, and how interested I was in coming on board, and how much I believed in their mission, just having, experienced the problems of what they were creating, resolutions for. And yeah, that's how I ended up coming up and joining Filmio. I reached out, and it was a good fit, and I'm really excited to be building and going on this journey with them.
Filmio, how does it work with creators? We're going to break it down with how does it work with creators, funders, and fans. But let's start with creators. So what should filmmakers know about your new platform?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. the filmmakers are really kind of the bedrock of what we want to do with Filmio. So it's really important to get across the value proposition of what we're offering. And what that is access. And that breaks down to a number of things. We really feel passionately that if we can bring creators and the people who love and consume content together as early as possible, engage them as tightly as possible, and allow for vibrant communities to grow around a project during its entire life cycle, not just when it's in theaters and you're buying a ticket. Traditionally, that's the only way I can involve myself in the life of a movie or TV show that I really love. It's buying a ticket to a theater or watching it on TV at that one time, maybe finding a community online to talk about. But the idea of being able to come in and use my voice to help other people find this content, if they're asking for information about their, feedback for their poster, being able as an artist myself to say, hey, this is what I think is great. This is what I think isn't great. Here's some things you could do. That relationship, I think, will really empower better content for the creators who embrace it. And it gives fans this amazing moment to feel like they're a part of something that they dearly love and that has been kept at arm's length for their entire life. And, we understand that creators drive that, but and we want to make sure that that's always the case, but allowing for these vibrant communities to be grown. If you're new, like Lauren was saying, the biggest obstacle to creating content today is access to funding, to the people you need to know. If you can go to someone who's an independent producer like Lauren and show them that you've got 50,000 people who engage every day in your project, they are rabid supporters of it. We believe, and I think it will be played out to be true, that will get you in the door faster than just a really great idea on a napkin or even a script that's really great. If you have a script that's great, plus a community that's ready to see the thing, I think that's going to be way more powerful than what you have today. And so that's the platform we're trying to create, is giving filmmakers a place to get feedback and grow community around their ideas that will also lead to funding opportunities, to distribution opportunities. Eventually, we're going to have communities of makers, as we call them. So if you're a writer, you're not a director necessarily, and you might not even want to do that. But you need a director, you need a gaffer, you need a cinematographer, you need a sound designer. And these people can be found in our community looking for the next thing that matters. And we hope they can find it in our platform. And these people come together and create this piece of content that couldn't have existed before because they didn't have the access. It would have been so many walls and impediments to keep them from making something. I firmly believe every human being on this planet has one thing to say at least. And if we can get 40% of those people the ability to say that thing, the world will be better. And that's why I do this, is I believe art makes the world better. Cinema is art. And the more art we can make, the better everyone is. And so that's why I work as hard as I do here. I know Lauren shares a lot of that similar feeling as well. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, absolutely. I think our entire team, actually, we're a small team. We've grown a lot actually in the past 12 months even, but I feel like our entire team has been in the industry in some way, and we all feel the pain points. And that's what makes our team, I think, really special and what we're building really special is because we're actually boots on the ground dealing with the issues that we're trying to, build solutions for. I just think there's so much room for improvement within the industry. It shouldn't be so hard for people to get financing if they have a really good idea. It shouldn't be so hard to break through and figure out, how you can get distribution and actually get a return on your investment and make a real living out of it. Because right now, even with some streamer deals and minimum guarantees and stuff, you can make a film and not even recoup half of the money that you spent on it, and you can't even make a real living. And I think that needs to change. I think that definitely needs to change. There's a lot of money out there, especially with the amount of content that fans are consuming. There's enough out there for filmmakers to be able to survive off, doing what they love.
Well, and I love how you're bringing everybody together into one platform. Like you said, there's so many barriers, and it's also who you know or who, and sometimes you don't have access if you don't know anybody, right?
Absolutely.
And you are bringing everybody together. So I was kind of curious, like, are there categories in which case that somebody would come on, like you have the filmmaker and then you have a list of all the filmmakers so that you could go in? Do you have like the funders, the distributors, writers? Like, are you breaking it down into different categories so that when you're searching for people, it's easier to find?
Yeah, so I can take that one, Chris, about our audience and who our user base is, because it's a group of very different people. And we have a few different categories. So we have film fans, we have filmmakers, and then we have film studios, streamers, distributors that would be scouting these projects and these filmmakers. And then obviously we're a blockchain company, so we have, the blockchain and crypto thought leaders, and the Filmio audience. It's incredibly diverse. So it caters to a community of film fans who are not just spectators, but who actually want to be active participants in the filmmaking process. And then the cool part about it, they can, like, being a part of this filmmaking process, they can receive like gamified rewards, film industry perks. They actually get to be a part of the filmmaking process. And then obviously filmmakers are like one of the most vital parts of the Filmio ecosystem, because they're the ones bringing the projects to the table. And it's really a project at any level. It could be a project at the idea stage, or it could be a project that's in production, already has financing, or is even in the distribution marketing stage, who needs to build audience. And the platform is a place where creators can find support, validation, and really tap into an engaged audience. And then while we're giving them like resources and opportunities for the development, funding, production, and distribution of their project. And then on the film investor and the studio and streamer and distributor side, they can really discover market validated content that audiences have already shown interest in and support for. So that really allows them to scout projects with like a built-in audience long before production costs are incurred. And that really reduces like traditional risks associated with choosing what content these film investors and streamers and distributors want to take on or you attach themselves to or greenlight. So really Filmio is like a melting pot for everyone that loves film or is involved in content creation in any way. So yeah, so it's the fans, filmmakers, and then any professionals really seeking market validated projects.
It's also important to understand that we're also looking for people who have aspirations to join this community.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so we'll have educational resources for those who have always wanted to try their hand at this, but didn't even know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're a place where they can start and find the resources they need. And you'll have mentorships within the platform as well. And just giving more voices the chance to be heard, because diversity is sorely lacking in everything we do today as a people. And so if we can even a little bit help with that, I think that we've accomplished something monumental. And so that's another kind of thing we're pushing, is that we're 100% for industry professionals and those who are farther along that journey, but we don't want to shut out people who are at the beginning and want to join that journey. They're welcome as well, and they can find their feet here.
Is there going to be like a place, because what came to mind for me is like crew, and what you were talking about, diversity. And sometimes it's just who you know and who you don't know. And this could give access to, if there's a form to fill out, then you could really drill down and find people within what you're looking for. Is that a part of it? Like when like a filmmaker comes on, do they kind of fill out a questionnaire to kind of give you those fields of information, or how does that work if one wanted to join? And where are you at? I know so many questions because there's so many going in my head right now. Is like, where are you at with this? Can people join now? Are you? I saw it was like beta form. Is that, and talk to me about the phases of this.
Sure. So why don't you, Lauren, talk about filmmakers coming on and that process, and where we're going with it, because we're at the very beginnings of it. and then I will talk about the status of the platform and all of that.
Perfect.
For sure. Yeah. So, well, Chris will get into this more, but right now we're in our early access phase. So we're letting filmmakers and film fans on AN waves, and we are planning on launching publicly in Q1 of 2024. But again, Chris can go more into that and the roadmap and rolling all of that out. But creators right now can join through the platform, and they can access a lot of the features that we have available right now are being built out. And again, Chris, you can kind of go into the roadmap of the features that we're going to be rolling out once we launch with public beta. But on the side of what you were asking about, like production crew and matchmaking on that, that's definitely something that's in our roadmap. We don't have the, like, as Chris put it, the maker market right now where you can join and then, there's not like a matchmaking algorithm or something that you fill out that matches you with production crew at this time, but it's in our roadmap. And it's something that is definitely going to be rolled out this year.
That'll be great, because a lot of times, you want to find a more diverse crowd of crew. It's just trying to find that or connecting to the right people.
Yeah. And then on the side of diversity, that's something that is really hits close to home to me, being a female filmmaker, and having gone through that, not just on the filmmaking side, but also the startup side, and startup investment and 2% of funding going to females, and it's very similar in Hollywood as well. Even trying to get financing for a film or anything like that. So it's really important to us that the type of people that we're partnering with, the communities that we're reaching and we're trying to onboard in these early stages are diverse owned companies, are companies that have New York Women in Film and Television and those types of groups where we are tapping into those communities. So we're trying to get the most unique and diverse voices as possible early on. So there is no word diversity in the Filmio community. It just is.
I like that. And also, is this like worldwide, just the United States?
No, it's
at
global.
This point? Global.
It's global.
I love
we
it.
have a ton of content from Spain, for instance, and a couple of other countries in the Latin America area. So, I mean, we're pushing as fast as we can into every territory we can. The team is even distributed globally. We have people in South America and Europe, all over the place. So we're trying to live our ethos as much as possible. And I love what Lauren said, of not having the word diverse, because we are. And we're doing our very best to make it the foundation of what we do, not something that we bolt onto the side. Because you can tell very clearly when diversity and all of that stuff is brought in later because of all of the dysfunction that exists in companies. And we're doing our best not to do that. And it's a huge job, and it's a constant battle. And thankfully we have people like Lauren, and we have a few other really stellar human beings that have joined us that are keeping us honest and true to our word. And that accountability is the only way anything ever gets done. And so it's a big deal that we've been able to attract people who have ethics and all of that to help us stay true, because it's very easy to get off the path that you want to be on.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us more about the platform, where you're at, and what the next phases are?
Yeah, of course. So just to build on what Lauren was saying, especially about the tools and what's coming, one of the things that we've been really trying to do is make sure that there are different philosophies in designing software. And some of them you ask for a bunch of information up front, and there's some friction in that, because before you can even get in and do anything, you have to fill out all these forms and type all this stuff in. And in the right scenarios, it's great. But we like to go on the less friction road. And privacy is super important. And so we're trying to be sensitive to what we ask for when. And so we absolutely will have all of the things that you're talking about. Like if a filmmaker gets to a certain point in the journey, we have a journey through our system, which I'll talk about in a moment, but they will get to a certain point where they now have the ability to raise funding with any of the tools that we provide. And at that moment, it makes very good sense to ask them some questions. And so we put those moments there because they're incentivized to do them. because they know they're getting something of value in exchange for that information, as opposed to a lot of sites where you don't know why they asked you for this and where it's being sold and what's being done with it. And that's a real problem. And so we're trying to tie the gathering of information with moments that make sense so that as a user, you feel like you can trust us. Because again, we really want that to be who we are, a positive force in the world that doesn't misuse your information or pull the rug out from under you. And so that's how we're approaching those things, is finding those waypoints where we can ask for more information and doing it then when it makes sense. And that leads us into our roadmap. Currently, we've focused a lot of what we've been doing on audience validation, right? So you bring your idea in and we help you grow a community around it. And all of the activity that happens on your project is validating the idea. And all of these things get rolled up into our proprietary metric that we call the Go score. I like to say it's like Rotten Tomatoes, but not evil, because Rotten Tomatoes is now way off the deep end. But it's the idea that you can look at the score, and if you understand what it means, you can quickly at a glance get an idea of the viability of the idea, because it rolls up all of this stuff that you care about. How many people have shared it, reviews, comments. We have our own token that's a governance token called the fan token that gives you access to our DAO. And we stake tokens to projects. It's like a vote in favor of that project. And so every token that gets staked is another person saying, I believe in this so much that I'm going to take this thing that I have that gives me a voice in the platform, and I'm going to put it on your project, and I can't use it again as long as it's on your project. So that's a real decision. They can retrieve it, they can unstake it, and then go somewhere else. But every moment that they do that, that's a decision that they're making to back you in a real meaningful way. And that data also goes into the Go score. So if you have 200,000 fan tokens staked to your project by 5,000 people, that's a real metric that means something when you understand what the fan token is and what it means to stake. And so that's where we are today, is validating someone's passion for your project. We are actively engaged in our roadmap, which next has some of the maker stuff. Like, I'm very passionate about the education component in our platform and the maker component. And those are something I'm always driving, trying to make sure they're on the early stages of the roadmap, because I think they're super important. And so we're looking at that and the funding mechanisms. Those are the two biggest deal, because we have a number of projects that it's beautiful to see something work the way you envisioned it to. And we have a number of projects that are now ready for funding. They've actually done the thing we thought they would do. Thousands of people have come in and said, this is fantastic. And they've gotten behind it. And now they want to see it become real. And that's where we are now, is actively building those tools. We have 2 or 3 of them that we are engaged in designing and writing the code for now. And we are working with partners for a couple of others, because you have all these different categories, right, of how much money or how much whatever needs to be raised for each one. If it's writing a script and you need funding for that, if it's creating a lookbook, you need funding for that. If it's marketing materials and you need to find a partner, then you need some funding for that, all the way up to a short film that is a proof of concept for your larger idea. And so each of these would have their own, there will be a funding mechanism that is smart and designed for each one of those. And they will necessarily be different because they are different. And we're actively engaged in all of that. We think that's going to be the next big thing that we do that really opens up the world for our creators, is that they get that validation, then they can start getting some funding and start making their dream a reality. And that's a super exciting moment. And that will only make their communities bigger. And it starts feeding itself, right? Because you now have concept art, because you found a concept artist, and you post that on your newsreel, which is like a Facebook wall that's attached to your project, which attracts more fans. And then they come in and they stake more tokens, which makes your Go score go up, which is another sign of validity. And then that makes it easier to raise even more money. So we're really hoping that becomes a virtuous cycle as opposed to a vicious one, and allows more creators to get those moments of, you need to feel good about what you're doing to continue doing the thing. There's only so much disappointment and heartache and just feeling alone that you can take. And we want to be the antithesis of that. We want to be the solution for that, so that these moments that really happen, that are real, that you can hang your hat on and say, that happened. And it gives you the energy to do the next nearly impossible thing. Because making a film is impossible. It's a succession of impossible things. And so each one of them you get over sets you up for the next really big thing, but it gives you the energy to tackle that mountain. And that's what we think is the next thing for us.
So when a filmmaker comes onto the platform, and is it per project, or could it be through the evolution of all their projects? Like maybe they come on with one film and then the film is complete. Can they keep using it, or do they need to reset up themselves for their next project?
Oh,
How
no.
does that? So it's just...
That's a fantastic question, because that's my favorite part of this thing. The idea here is that you create one project, you're successful, you have a community you've built.
Yeah.
They obviously like you and the things that you do. And so you create another project. You don't have to, you have an account. And as a creator, you can create projects whenever you want. You can have multiple in draft because, you have a bunch of ideas and you're working on them all. But when you finish it, it's released. You go back to your community for that horror movie you made and you say, I've got another one. It's going to premiere. It's going to be released on the platform in 3 days. Please come over and check it out. And you are able to activate that community that already has proven they like what you do,
Right.
and bring them to the new thing you do. And you just keep doing that. And that's what's exciting for me, because that makes someone from being a one film person to an auteur that creates a style. They become the next Wes Anderson. They're identified by their style, and their community is helping them figure out what that is. And that's super exciting for someone like me.
So I guess the next question is how do you get your community?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Chris. So filmmakers on Filmio, they really have a unique opportunity to organically build their audience by fostering like a deep connection with fans. So through the platform, filmmakers will empower fans to like actively participate in their filmmaking journey. So that's one incentive. And then allowing them to be like as involved as the creator desires. So as involved as in the work that the creator puts in, the more that they'll build their fan base, of course. And fans engage by, as Chris was mentioning, staking their fan tokens and support of projects they're passionate about. And this can unlock things like behind the scenes, views of the filmmaking process. So Chris mentioned the newsreel. Filmmakers drop like a treasure trove of project updates, lookbooks, trailers, artwork, and it's really creating this immersive experience for fans to engage and provide valuable feedback. And that not only cultivates a sense of community, but it also allows filmmakers to refine their projects based on like authentic reactions from fans. Filmmakers also receive like a really awesome packaged project page. So they're packaging it, they're developing their project and packaging it through our platform. And they can then easily share that with friends, families, social followers, extending the reach of what they're doing to their own networks. We go beyond like just the virtual realm of all that. And we actively promote our creators and projects through like comprehensive publicity campaigns, engagement across our social communities. So we'll do social campaigns, email campaigns. And to amplify this visibility, Filmio conducts things like creator spotlights. We host Twitter spaces with our creators, AMAs. We organize various like physical and digital events with them as well. Like we did a live screening of one of the films called 52577, and we had an interactive screening where we invited our community to watch, and that was like a really big perk for them. So these initiatives serve as like this powerful tool to rally fans around the film and TV projects on the platform. And this way we create a dynamic and supportive ecosystem that filmmakers can really thrive in because the fans are going on this journey with them from the beginning. And it doesn't have to be from the beginning. Like I said, it could be at any stage. But giving fans a chance to see a lookbook, to see the process of what traditional Hollywood gatekeepers are doing, that gives them like this sense of governance power in this new Hollywood.
Yeah, and it just makes me keep thinking about like different crew positions that could be fans, and that's how they're getting to know these filmmakers. And also like the lookbook, you have graphic artists. If they were on there, then they could be pitching their services to people. I mean, it's really connecting everybody to a world where it's easier to talk to each other versus others where like IMDb, you have to be a pro and then maybe you can talk to them, maybe you don't, through whatever they have. So this is like really kind of cool. Can we talk more about the fan token and how does that work? And I guess my question is, does everybody need to pay to be on this, or do some people need to pay? Like, how does that work?
Fantastic question, and super important, because a lot of places are pay to play, and that is such a non-starter and limits your community so much that it doesn't make any sense when you want scale, which is what we want. We want as many people as possible to have this opportunity. And so no, you do not have to pay to play on Filmio. You, right now, as we are getting things bootstrapped and trying to get people involved, everyone gets a welcome bonus of a certain amount of fan tokens that just get freely given to them. And that will always be the case. It's a little bigger right now because we're trying to incentivize people, but it will always exist because we want you on your first day in the application to go stake to something, to understand what it is, to go review something, which reviewing, sharing, generate fan tokens. So you get rewards for doing that. Fan governance rewards is what we're calling them, because it's a governance token. And so when you review, you earn fan tokens for reviewing. And when you stake, you get FGR, which is our fan governance reward. You earn at a certain amount. So the longer you stake, the more FGR you get. So we incentivize people to stake these tokens and vote for these projects by awarding them more of the governance token so that they can turn around and do it again and put it on that project, or take the 5 that they've earned and go find another project that really speaks to them to be able to be involved in. And so we're trying to find as many places as possible that we can integrate people into the ecosystem and reward them for doing so that they can participate, because we don't believe there should be any barriers to participation. That does not mean, because we are a business, that we won't have pro accounts or something like that a creator or an investor or even a fan could opt into at some point, but they will never be necessary to be a fully engaged, important, necessary member of our community. That is always going to be free. Just the pro account. You might be able to create 10 projects instead of 5 if you get a pro account for a creator. I mean, those sort of things, but you will never have to pay to play.
Okay. How do they get funding? I mean, how is that working? How do you work with investors? Or what's your goal there to connect the investors to the films?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to start talking about the technology and then you can come in after, or do you want to start?
Yeah, Chris, if you want to talk about the funding features that are in the roadmap that we're going to be rolling out, and the different types of funding that they can get, and then I'll discuss a little bit more how we're doing now while we're developing those features.
Fantastic. Yes. So there are 2 answers from a technology standpoint of how we are going to be connecting filmmakers with investors. We have an entire matchmaking system that we've designed, and we've actually written the algorithms for and all of the underlying code. It just hasn't been fully integrated into our current platform yet. We have a couple of things we want to do to it to make it a little nicer. But that system will allow investors to come in and set up criteria that they want to have filtered through our database of projects so they can find the projects that are interesting to them. Because some investors want to, like, horror is always a good one because it's, lower budgets, higher percentage of return if it's done correctly. And so there might be a bunch of investors that are attracted to us because they want to look for those. Or someone might be looking for the next sci-fi feature or TV show, prestige TV show. they can put those criteria in and they get all those matches back. And then on the other side, creators can go into a special version of that for them to start getting introductions. And so we have very deep and wide plans for matchmaking. It's just making sure we don't ever want to launch something before it's ready, because that can do a lot of damage to especially the creators and the investors, because this is a key part of their relationship in the beginning. And so we want to make sure it's right. And so that is an ongoing thread, if you will. And then right now we are working actively on donation campaigns, because there are things you can do with fan tokens within the platform, and there'll be even more as we mature the platform. And so a creator can go in and say, I need 1,000 fan tokens to pay a graphic artist, as you said, who is now in the community, to do a lookbook for me. I'm going to pay them in fan tokens. And so they create that campaign. All of their fans come in and go, here's 5, here's 1, here's 10. They get to that 1,000. Now they can transfer those to that graphic artist, and they can do the job and move forward. We are also designing kind of self-serve things for raising funds in different types of crypto. So when you reach a certain level of maturity and you've proven through your behavior on the platform and your conduct and what you've done, when you've proven that you can handle raising money, because not everyone should be raising thousands of dollars, when they just have a log line. Maybe.
They better have a really good log line.
Exactly. You never know. And I don't count anything out completely, but it's a pretty good bet they wouldn't be able to. They would be able to launch a fundraising campaign that allows them to accept, Bitcoin or USDC or something like that. And then as long as they are very clear about what they are raising those funds for, and we have systems that will be in place as part of this, that they have to reach milestones to have distributions. Again, trying to make sure that we want to be fair to everyone. And that includes the fans who are saying, here's my hard-earned money. And we want to be cognizant of that, and we want to be good stewards of that. And so we want to make sure that they're just not going to take all this and run away into the night and never be seen again. We need to make sure that it's done correctly, and it's transparent, and it's fair and equitable. And so those are the two big things we're doing. We're also talking to partners that would allow us to not run, but help facilitate launching CF campaigns and Reg A's and Reg D's and all of that, because those are things that larger productions will need. They'll need to create an LLC and then get funding. We're creating tools and relationships to allow all of that stuff to be done pretty quickly, because you're just wanting to make your movie. You don't want to be an expert on corporate law and finance law. So being able to offer services of people and tools to make that a little easier is very much something we're aware of and are actively working on.
Great. And Lauren, did you want to say something?
Right now, Filmio secures funding through a multifaceted approach. We really engage investors and we match them with the right projects. That's how we're doing it right now. So while we're continuously working on what Chris was saying on rolling out those features, Ingredient X is the film and development studio that's behind the creation of Filmio. Ingredient X currently white gloves opportunities for filmmakers while we're, again, rolling out these different features. So moreover, filmmakers on our platform are eligible for funding through the Global Creativity Fund, which is an initiative aimed at supporting and democratizing the filmmaking industry. So this dual strategy not only attracts diverse investors, but also provides filmmakers with a reliable avenue to bring their creative visions to life through contests. And we run various contests on the platform, and it really engages fans. And then the filmmaker project that has the highest ghost score is eligible for film funds. So right now we're doing it in a white glove sort of way that is eventually going to be turned into features that Chris was just mentioning.
Yeah, because you just had a fan-selected creator contest, and the winner won $10,000.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, so it was our first fan selected creator contest. We're calling it the Creator of the Future contest. It really showcases our commitment to empowering these filmmakers and while still engaging the fans in the process and having the fans and the filmmakers use the platform as it was intended. So as you mentioned, the winner of the contest did walk away with $10,000 in development funds. This last one that we just did. And it's not a one-time event, but it's a recurring opportunity that we run for filmmakers to actively involve their audience and vie for development funds for any type of project that they have, film or TV projects on the platform. And during these contest periods, the projects on the platform, Chris mentioned earlier what the Go score is, and it really represents a project's success fingerprint. The filmmaker that has or project that has the highest Go score at the end of the contest is who's chosen to be the winner of these film funds. And the cool part about it, as Chris mentioned before with the Go score, is the Go score gets heightened by the more engaged the fans are. So it's this really, really cool way to get people using the platform as intended, but then also add incentive for whoever the emerging, project or filmmaker is to earn these film funds. And so this last one that we just did, the animated series Chicken Ship was the winner of this last one. It was actually created by the Emmy Award-winning comedian Craig Shoemaker and world-renowned animator David Feiss. I'm sure a lot of people have heard his work. He was also the creator and animator of Cow and Chicken, which was successful. And it was really funny because the Chicken Ship project is actually kind of pokes fun at cryptocurrency. It's like this animated series where, chickens are fighting against Bitcoin. And so it was a really fun contest. It went really well. And we're actually going to be running another one in the beginning of Q1 in 2024. So if there's any filmmakers listening to this, definitely reach out, info@filmio.com. Let us know if you have a film or TV project and you want to be a part of the contest to potentially win film funds for your project.
Oh my God, that's great. I was just kind of curious, you were talking about education too. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the things that education videos, and I was also wondering, do you have like videos on how to participate on your website, like how to work it the most efficiently?
Yeah, so we definitely, that's one, when we were speaking of our different audiences, I think that's one of the major challenges, especially on the marketing end with a company like this that's both entertainment and blockchain, because you have this the film world and the film users that might not be so much educated on blockchain. And then you have the blockchain crypto people who are fully educated on that, but not really educated on the filmmaking process. So it's really important. And we've come up with a system to we have what we call release notes. And these release notes are new features that we have on the platform. And we've come up with a system where we will create educational videos based off of what our new features are coming out. And we keep those two challenges in mind with those audiences of how do we educate filmmakers on the blockchain stuff, and then how do we educate the crypto blockchain community on the filmmaking stuff. So we definitely create tutorial videos. You can find some videos on our website, which is film.io. And we'll definitely keep pumping out videos across all of our social channels. You can follow us on social at official Filmio on mostly everything: Instagram, Telegram, Discord, all that good stuff.
Yeah, because I think that's really important, because sometimes you were talking about it, Chris, about the tiers, because not everybody can handle $100,000 or even $10,000 for that matter, right? And you were saying the filmmakers need to hit these tiers. I think the education on how do you create what you need to create and how do you move yourself from one level to the next level is good.
Absolutely. Yeah, and one of the things that we try to do well is take feedback. And so we have a number of feedback and mechanisms built into the application itself. And along with what Lauren said that we use to source what we're going to make videos on, we're looking at what the filmmakers and our fans are giving us feedback, things they don't understand, things that they think should be explained better. And we use that to inform the things that we do. And we 100%, we have a knowledge base that we are trying to expand constantly that have articles for filmmakers, for blockchain people, for fans, everyone. And so we are constantly improving that. And one of those will be, you've done this, what's next? Those types of articles need to be done, videos as well. And for the broader education, we're partnering with companies and entities that already do a great job with education, because we want to do what we do the best that we can. And the only way to do that is to be able to focus on that and then find partners who are focusing on that one thing that they do so well, and then help each other. An educational platform that teaches you how to be a filmmaker doesn't help you make your content.
Right.
But we do that. So why not have a two-way relationship where when they have learned enough that they're ready to grab a camera and go, they are told about us, and they can come over and build the community they need around the thing that they want to do. And on our side, if you get to a certain point and you don't know what to do next, then we can point you in the direction of a partner that will teach you what to do next. And then you come back and do it. And so that's something we've been trying very hard to do. Is we can't do everything. We can barely have the time to do the things that we do better than everyone else, just because of how big the problem we're trying to solve is.
Right.
And so, for packaging, we go find a partner to do that. I don't need to be an expert on that. We can find someone who is and work with them. And now they have more clients coming to them and everyone's happy. And so that's what we're trying to do with the education component, is build the things that make sense for us to do, and then partner with other people who are already doing an amazing job. So why not just help them find more people to see the things that they do? And we try to do that as much as possible with all facets of what we do and what we shouldn't do, if you will.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my mind was just twirling with ideas like, wow, in the education part, especially with studios and funders and investors. I mean, even just having a video dialogue of asking them, what are you looking for in a film? What do, filmmaker? I mean, wow, you could be just the hub of information and a community, and just really building and people that are involved in it get to participate and share their expertise. I mean, I see a podcast, but, and lots of videos that you could do, just educating based on your community.
Right.
And all the people you guys know and what you're bringing in. Wow, this is amazing. Is there any last thoughts, words that you want to share before we close?
I mean, I think anybody that is a film fan loves to either watch or be engaged in any type of film or TV content. Anybody that's a filmmaker that has a film or TV project in, like I said, any stage, and the development stage, even as early as the idea stage, production stage, whatever stage you're in, a project where you want to rally a fan base around and potentially get opportunities for funding and distribution, go head over to film.io and you can join our wait list right now. And we are letting users that are on our wait list on in waves during this early access phase. And then we will be launching, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be launching to the public early Q1 in 2024. And we have a really cool events coming up that we're going to be attending and launching and announcing some really cool stuff. So keep an eye out for us.
Yeah, I think I would just add from just personal, and it's something that I've dealt with before as well, is if you're watching this and you've always wanted to say something in this medium, don't let fear, apathy, or the unknown stop you from taking the leap to do something great. And you now have a place to do it, which just didn't exist before. And failure is not the worst thing. Not trying is the worst thing. And I would just leave with that. Go try. Go make something. Say something. Do it with us. Do it on your own and put it on YouTube. Just go say what you want to say. And just know we're here to help you say it if you need it.
I love that as an ending. And I am on your wait list, just so you know. Thank you so much. Yeah, for now.
Yeah,
until you
I'm like,
bump me out.
we'll get you right in the platform.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for listening. I encourage you to get out there and make a film. Reach out to your local filmmakers group to get involved and connect. Please subscribe to the show if you like it, and follow me on Instagram at Tammy Magura. Until we meet again, what's your story?